let me see.
If everyone can make their way to their seats, we'll get started in a few minutes here.
Is absent, right? So
Yeah.
I think so. Do you have the attendance? That's the issue. It's gonna Google.
Yeah.
I tried grabbing it from her, but I need permission. So yeah. Let's see. Let me. Let me see. I don't have access to it. Where? Let's see. Maybe would you ask Kevin at the front desk if he has it?
So Ken's not here. We'll have a roll call sheet.
We're still setting up, so we're gonna be a few minutes, but we're gonna start here soon.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna use the bathroom.
Howdy.
Hello.
Then we took my days.
All the ones that we need are on the product. On the book. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What's your name again?
Tilda, Samantha Tilda.
Thank you.
Here it is. Yep.
I was looking for Caroline's as well.
Carolyn, Chris, right?
We got stuck with the sorting job. There we go.
Oh, wait. What else I noticed?
Yeah, I haven't sent it to my speaker email, so. You want to do a roll call or man? You want me to? Okay, I can do it. Anytime. Hopefully I don't butcher any names.
Were you able to get that, Brendan?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. Give me 1 second.
All good. We can go ahead and get started.
My email.
Awesome.
Hey y'all, us on Zoom can't see you.
Awesome. All right, are we ready?
Senate will now be in order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand if you are willing and able. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now read the land acknowledgement. Senator Shepherd.
Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. This was also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other native tribes. We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed. CSU was founded as a land grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion, and significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon. This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment.
Will the speaker pro tempore please do the beginning roll call?
Senator Silverheart. Senator Sandoval. Senator Shepherd.
Present.
Senator Deason.
Present.
Senator Nybert. Senator Brown.
Here.
Senator Shearer. Chair Ritter. Senator Villaseñor. Senator Pyfrom. Senator Moshe. Senator May.
Here.
Senator Richardson. Senator Tennyson. Chair Morgan.
Present.
Senator Garcia. Senator Long. Senator Correa.
That's me. Present.
Associate Senator DeCasta. Associate Senator Tafaro. Associate Senator Quintana.
Present.
Speaker Hunter.
Present.
Speaker Tempore Baum. Present. Chair Athey.
Here.
Chair Welch.
Here.
Chair Osterhaus.
Present.
Officer Torres Doxey.
Present.
Is there any senators or associate senators I missed?
You missed me, and I think that might be an old sheet since Senator Villaseñor hasn't been a senator all semester.
Are you on your way home?
Old sheet, so Senator Trout. Senator Burge. Senator, I just can't see it. Bill Desch. Bill Doe. Senator.
Senator Silverheart, Senator Mumford, and Associate Reeves are also all here.
All right, we'll now
And
move into,
also, oh, I'm so sorry. And also Senator former Senator Victor Rosales Garcia has resigned. So it's just me for El Centro, Senator Caricita.
we will now move into our consent agenda. Is there any dissent to last week's minutes? Seeing none, we'll move into gallery input. Or is there any input from the gallery? Seeing none, we will move into swearing in of new senators and associates. Senator Deason.
I'd like to make a motion to add an associate senator to the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
All for?
Aye.
All against? Thank you. We'll move into swearing in of new senators and associate senators. Will all of the new senators and associates please come up to the front? And is there a member of the judicial branch that can swear them in?
Stand over here.
Please repeat after me in unison. I state your name,
I, Jason Waller,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
set forth by the Associate Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. We'll now move forward. Y'all can all head back. Thank you. We'll now move forward into our agenda. Next is guest presentation. Just so you all know, it's not specifically on the agenda, but it will be the Attica presentation from last week, just with clarification from last week. Is the presenters present?
They're going to be going during elections. When
Okay. Gotcha. My bad. We'll now move into executive reports. Is there a member from the executive branch that would like to report?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I'm present here, and then if Chief of Staff Ryder, Vice President Gibrasatic are in the room as well, I think they wanted to share. I can jump in though if that's the right team. For those of you that were able to join for a day at the Capitol, just wanted to say thank you. It was incredibly successful. We had about 50 students from around the state, from 14 universities and community colleges join us. And it was great too, because we had a snowstorm, as you all obviously know, Wednesday night. And so, yeah, we had some troopers that came from Alamosa and Durango and Pueblo and yeah, all around the state. But it was great. We met with the Attorney General, with the Speaker of the House, Alec Garnett, at the Colorado State Capitol. And I think a lot of goals that we walked away from that with. So if you all have any insights or ways that we can improve that event in future years, if you want to be looped into any of the higher ed advocacy, I would love to make those connections. And we'll just mention that, like, everything that you're doing, remember that you're a part of a united student front that's working on these issues on other campuses. And we noticed that, I mean, together we have a lot of influence at the state capitol. So I hope you all will leverage that. And if there's a way I can support you in that regard, please let me know. There's also an event tomorrow. Natalie Montalcino, our Deputy Director of University Affairs, is planning an event. It's a summit, a climate change summit, basically like a talent summit, what we're calling it. Experts from around Fort Collins and a lot of faculty members that are speaking broadly about climate change and its impacts on us as university students, on the university as well. And so that is tomorrow. Carter, you might have that in front of you. Do you remember exactly what time? If Carter is in the room. Sorry, got it here, 4 to 6 p.m. 4 to 6 p.m. at LSC 300. So if any of you all would like to join, you're definitely welcome. And then I'll mention, we met with the Chamber of Commerce today, their Associate Executive Director, and chatted about us joining the chamber. As I'm sure you all know, we plan to join. So if you all want to be a part of those partnership conversations, or if you want to be added to that list of 15 people that's approved to attend chamber events, we would welcome that, and a lot of exciting partnership opportunities there. And then the last thing I'll mention is just tomorrow with the men's basketball team. I've got a list of folks that I already sent a meeting invite to. I've got Kimberly Caracedo, I know is in there 3 or 4 times. So you're good, Kim. But for anyone else that is interested, if you haven't accepted that meeting invitation, please do so. And if you're not on the meeting invite, reach out to me directly and I can definitely add.
Just making sure I'm still on there, Mr. President.
Christian, I think we lost you a little bit. Is while he like regains consciousness, is there any other member of the executive branch? All right.
And Mr. Speaker, I am back, by the way. Did I lose you at the very end, or did you catch the last announcement with the men's basketball team?
We caught a little bit of it. If you just want to give a quick summary again.
Yeah, just tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. So if anyone wants to join, you're more than welcome, and you can contact me directly. And I yield.
Any other members of the executive branch that would like to present? Seeing none, are there any members of the judicial branch that would like to present?
Okay, hi everyone. Same announcements as always, that all the associate justices have projects. So if you want to connect with them on that, Kelly is Rams Know Their Rights. Marcus is Responsible Exemption. Gemma is a resourcing and great resource for the judicial branch in whole. Todd is Court Cohesion. So if you have anything that you'd love to talk to the court about or have any ideas for that, and again, thank you to all who come to Coffee with the Court. With the presentation tonight, I did want to just say we are very excited Attica is willing to come back. Thank you very much. And any constructive criticism is welcome. Any kind of negative comments or anything that maybe isn't constructive is not. They have spent 2 years of really hard work on this. So we would appreciate kind comments, consideration for that time as you would want for any of your projects. Thanks, y'all.
With that, we'll move into competence business unless there's any other member of the judiciary. Elections Manager Jenkins.
Hello, everybody. What a treat to be in front of y'all 2 weeks in a row. 3 really fun updates. The first 2 are kind of, old at this, or the first one's kind of old at this point. Elections Committee applications for that are still up. We'll be accepting applicants until Friday. So let anybody who's like even interested in seeing what ASCSU is like, just let them know about that opportunity. The time commitment is really relaxed for being involved in student government. As you all know, this takes out a really large chunk of your week, but the only time commitments are the first 2 weeks before, or the 2 weeks before spring break. It's going to be at most an hour each week. The 2 weeks after spring break is going to be 5 hours each week, and the third week we come back from break is going to be 2 hours. That is the most amount of time I will ask committee members to put in to the committee. We won't go beyond that. There is a chance we might go below that time requirement. So if there's anybody who's just interested that or if y'all are interested in joining the elections committee, apply. Applications should be on the website, and if they aren't, please let me know. There's also a nice little poster / flyer taped on the front desk and up in all of the SDPS offices and ALVS that has a nice little QR code that will take you to the link. Secondly, candidate applications for all of the elected positions within ASCSU are now open. It's a fun Google form, so you can access that online. It should be up and running through the front desk or through the ASCSU website, and y'all can fill that form out if you want to rerun for your current position, run for Speaker of the Senate, or if you want to tap a friend to become President and Vice President. Those applications are now open and they will be closing. I do believe we settled on March 4th. Yeah, March 4th. If y'all want to apply or know anybody who would be good, send that their way. Okay, the third announcement. A little sad, but you know, that's kind of what we do. Things don't pan out the way that we want them to, and that's okay. Unfortunately, due to an unforeseen circumstances or an unforeseen shortage in predicted participants in creating a new voting system, we will not be able to use ranked choice voting for this election. However, if we continue the partnership with Attica that we have, then we should be able to implement that voting system in the 2023 ASCSU elections. If y'all have any questions, comments, and or concerns about that, please direct them to me, and I can walk you through why that decision was made. Okay. And without further ado, Derek and Maddie, if y'all would like to come back on up.
Hey all, we're here again this week to do a little bit more of a thorough demonstration of what we've built, and we wanted to hopefully get everybody included on this. We're going to be showing a link here in just a minute that you can all go to. I figured it was easier to show you all instead of just trying to explain or tell you a link.
See, so 1 second, I'm just going to say, just because this wasn't sent out, you do have to read everything that is on the screen, per our accessibility guidelines.
Absolutely.
So, thank you.
Yep. So the link is csu.attica, ATTICA, voting.com/elections/student_elections. And it's got a couple logos of our logo, Attica Voting, and the CSU logo. And there you should be able to vote in just a little mock-up election. We provided some descriptions of the candidates, that what it might look like in a real election, as well as just some good photos of dogs.
Can you see the microphone? Absolutely. Okay, so before y'all start voting, there is something that we need to do to make sure that everything is working okay with the platform numbers wise. So everybody on the right side of the room, so Lizzie, Mathis, and Adam, if y'all, and everybody on Zoom, if y'all could vote for the Theodore Drive/Carl Sneed ticket, and everybody on the left side of the room, if y'all could vote for the Martina Prince / Anonia White ticket for president, that would be greatly appreciated. And with speaker, again, on the right side of the room, so Lizzie, Mathis, and Adam, and along with everybody on Zoom, if y'all could vote for Naya Potosi, and everybody on the left side, vote for Clark Love. And then with senators, only people on the right side of the room, so Lizzie, Mathis, and Adam, if y'all could vote for Alex Ortega Cabello, everybody on Zoom, if y'all could vote for Matt Cartwright, and everybody on the left side of the room, so like everybody else, if y'all could vote for Charlie Davenport, that would be greatly appreciated.
On a personal privilege, can you run by President and VP? Who do you want right side to vote for?
Yes, I can scroll up. If y'all could vote for the Drive Sneed ticket.
Thank you. You have my time.
Thank you, Lizzie, or thank you, Chair Mr. Howard.
Point of personal privilege. Could you run through the senator positions again for the left side?
Senator positions, y'all will be voting for Charlie Davenport.
Thank you.
Oh my God, those dogs are so cute.
Awesome. And while you guys are all voting, wanted to give you a little bit of an update on some of the tests that we've been running. Just today, we were able to run a little bit of a stress test with one of the lower level computer science classes with about 60 students. Didn't run into any issues other than one being reported that it was just a blank screen at first, and it eventually did show the full web page. We hope to do more thorough and more robust stress tests before the actual election, but this gave us a lot more confidence going forward.
And we also believe that the blank screen was mostly due to them mistyping the URL, just because it was a little hard for them to understand my writing on the whiteboard. Yeah. But also, just to kind of walk you guys again through the webpage real quick, now that I actually have it pulled up and everything. The way that it's set up is I have the title of the election. So for this point, it's just the CSU student elections. I have just kind of a temporary description in this. I have it just describing a little bit of what the process is that's going on with Attica. And then I have it broken down into each of the different races. And when you click on each of the candidates, it updates over here with what their bio is. And whatever candidate you click on last is who you're voting for. It also, I don't know if you've noticed, but the candidates are automatically shuffled. So you should almost all see different orders than what the candidates are. And again, once you click on things, it then updates it with the description and so forth. Yeah, I will hand this over to Derek and he'll show you how our tallying works.
So, Hayden, I think you had a question.
Yeah, point of personal privilege. Which speaker was my side of the room supposed to vote for?
Your all side of the room was supposed to vote for Clark Love.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll give it a couple more minutes for everybody to get their votes in. And then we're going to create a more robust and descriptive tallying page for all the students that aren't aware of how elections are run, I guess. But just to display that information very clearly and thoroughly. But for the time being, just to see that it's working properly, and now that we have a proper way of making sure that it's working.
So just it's saying that it's a blank page for some people.
Yes, it's just a blank white page.
Ariana, do you think you could type in the URL in the chat? Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And they're still getting a blank page. Yeah, students _ elections.
Yeah. Try it again with the underscore instead of the slash.
Yeah. Okay. And we'll just do the tallying real quick. And like I said, this is not the final product. And there is our final tally. So everything, it's a little bit hard to see. See if I can blow it up. There we go. This is the final tally of the president and vice president race, speaker race, and the senator race. And down at the very bottom is the winning candidates for all those races. Hoping they add up correctly. All right. And I believe that's all that we have for you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, y'all. Are there any other members of the judicial branch that would like to report? Seeing none, we'll now move into confidence business. Will the acting parliamentarian please add 2 hours to the confidence clock? We'll begin with ratification and election of officers. The only election we have tonight is for parliamentarian. We will, with the first race placard, we will be accepting nominations. Chair Apey,
I'll just nominate him, but.
are there any other?
Let's
Oh,
accept it.
do you accept?
I accept.
Are there any other nominations for parliamentarian? Final call for nominations for parliamentarian. Seeing none, will Kevin Clark please approach over here? Yeah, I've been. All right, you may present.
Well, good evening, Senate. For those of y'all who don't know me, my name is Kevin. Pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm a third year studying political science, minor in leadership studies through PLP. Currently, I'm a front desk staff member. Before that, I was the senator for the College of Liberal Arts. I was a vice chair on the University Affairs Committee with President Dixon. And then more recently, I was the parliamentarian for the 50th Senate, which was honestly like the most fulfilling position that I've ever been in my life. I've always been passionate about amplifying student representation, especially in regards to underrepresented identities on campus, coming in as a first-generation Vietnamese American student. I found that representation and inclusion often kind of interlinks with accessibility, and oftentimes those little details really kind of inhibit access for students on campus. And the parliamentarian role really provides a lot of opportunities to fix those little details. And so last year when I was parliamentarian, I oversaw 44 pieces of legislation presented throughout last year's Senate, from their conception to their final passage. Checked them for sponsorships and endorsements, formatting, et cetera. You know, I communicated with authors on the status of their bills. I have extensive knowledge on the governing documents of ASCSU, the Constitution, the bylaws. I've read up a little bit on the 51st Senate bylaws that were passed last week. And so I have a pretty good, okay understanding of that. Robert's Rules of Order, the processes of Senate. And yeah, other than that, I facilitated last year's conference committee as well. I created the conference committee reports, which merged the internal committee edits and made it available for kind of easy passage through the Senate, you know, so that we wouldn't have to go through that procedure on the floor. I also managed the legislation tracker, created an online Senate bill book as well. Did a lot of fun things, but yeah, other than that, I'll probably just leave the space open for some questions. So I yield.
We will now enter Q&A, starting with the first race placard. Chair Osterhout.
Hey, I think my question is, considering you've already done this position, what's one thing you know you want to improve from last year?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Chair Osterhout. And I was thinking about this a lot too, about the possible projects that I could have worked on and didn't really get enough time to finish. One of those, and we talked about this a lot last year as well, was trying to put some more empowerment in resolutions and give them some more meaning. Whenever resolutions are passed, primarily they get sent out to the people on the forwarding lists, and that's kind of usually the end that we hear of it. And I've always wanted to find some kind of way where we can create resolutions that have a lasting impact, open up rooms for discussion, and can create some really viable change. And then from there, mostly a lot of it was communicating with recipients of legislation, honestly. We were working on forwarding lists a little bit last year towards the end of the Senate session, really just trying to see who were the people that we needed to get ASCSU's actions on, and see if we can get conversations started up with them, because that hasn't really been done in the past. And so, yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Thank you. I yield my time.
Are there any other questions? Senator Trout.
Thank you. All right. So question is, how do you plan to uphold the university and ASCSU initiatives of diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that question, Senator Trout. I have always been incredibly committed to access, especially when it pertains to this organization as well. There are so many opportunities for us to be more accessible. A couple of the ways that we did that was through creating navigation panes, for example, on legislation. Very, very simple task of just making sure that it's accessible for screen reading technologies. Digital accessibility has always been a really big thing, especially last year when we were operating online through Zoom. Empowering that and also leaving that open as well now that we're in person again, I feel is really important. Other than that, yeah, that's about that.
Awesome. How are you going to recognize your inherent biases?
That's a really good question. Can I take a minute to think about that?
Of course.
Thanks. Yeah, for me, the way I see it, the parliamentarian position has always been very administrative, right? It's very much codified, and I will always advocate for what I feel is right, which is the advancement of social justice on this campus. And at the same time, I also know that whenever my biases might overwhelm me, at least in the couple of moments that I did last year, I always recognize the fact that this is a position that is based in our governing documents, right? And is subject to those codes and regulations. In many ways, it kind of aligns with Supreme Court in terms of interpretation, you know? And so I will always fall back onto the bylaws, onto the Constitution, to make sure that whatever rulings and actions that I do keep are aligned with what we have on the code. And so, yeah.
Awesome. It sounds like you are already well positioned for it. I mean, since you did it last year, so I have no worries in your capabilities. So with that, Speaker, I yield my time.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, will you please step out of the room for a second? We'll enter discussion and debate. Starting with the first race pocket. Senator Birch.
Motion to previous question.
There's been a motion to previous question. Is there a second?
Second.
All for?
Aye.
All against? This motion passes. Chair AP.
I move for unanimous consent on this agenda.
Is there dissent? Seeing none. Congratulations, parliamentarian. You have been unanimously adjourned. Sorry. Is there a member from the judicial branch? Yeah, there's one right there.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Kevin Clark,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
set forth by the Constitution of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations and welcome back, Parliamentarian Charlie.
Moving forward in our agenda, there's no new business. We'll move directly into old business. I'm going to motion for a 5-minute recess so that we can get set up.
Seconded.
All for?
Aye.
All against? We'll now move into a 5-minute recess.
Awesome. Let's go. Yes.
You can't make motion.
Oh, my
You
bad.
can say, I'd be willing to accept.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
entertain it. Like, ask for it, but you can't say it yourself.
Okay, understand. All right, so on here,
Yes.
I have a one.
Is the mic meant to be muted on their end or your guys' end?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
We will begin with bill number 5107. Will the parliamentarian please read the name and title abstract?
Bill 5107, Elections Code Amendment Act. Abstract. This bill amends the ASCSU Elections Code for the 2022 general election.
Is the author present? Seeing as this is the second reading.
Point of order, the chair needs to present for changes.
Oh, yes. Will the author of the changes?
Okay, so internal is the only committee chair of this document, so it makes presenting the changes really simple. They're in there. So first couple pages were mostly just like fixing a word to fix the grammar, as internal usually does. The first main change is, nope, that's not internal change. Sorry, there are two different colors. I got a little bit confused. We added that all campaign materials should follow ASCSU accessibility standards, including but not limited to captions and alternative text. Requirement for alternative text shall be satisfied by a description of any photographic material, and failure to provide accessible campaign material shall be considered a minor violation. Repeat offenses will, at the discretion of the elections committee, be considered a major or serious violation. We also defined what campaigning within the common grounds of CSU means. We added, if the capability for ranked choice voting is not available, each member of ASCSU will only vote for one presidential or vice presidential candidate, and the same for speaker. I'm scrolling really quickly, but those are all of the changes that internal made.
Let's see. Is there any dissent to these changes? All for accepting these changes?
Aye.
All against? These changes are adopted. Seeing that as this is the second reading of this piece of legislation, we will now move into discussion and debate, starting with the first raised placard. Chair Amy.
I move for previous question, and then I secondarily move for unanimous consent on this document.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Is there dissent? Seeing none, this document has been passed. We'll now move to bill number 5111. Will the parliamentarian please read the title and abstract?
Bill 5111, extending the sunset clause for Bill 5022, the Good Neighbor Program Bill. Abstract, a one-word change that will extend the sunset clause of Bill 5022, the Good Neighbor Program Bill, due to a delayed hiring start date of the property management liaison.
Is there someone present to present the changes? Charles, go ahead.
Hey y'all, let's go over what we did in budgetary. I think it's at the very bottom is our changes. Okay, so here's what we did. In budgetary mindset, if bill is written, we can't go back and amend bill. It's just, we don't do. So what we did instead in budgetary was just added a therefore clause that has been done previously for another sunset clause, specifically Bill 5016 extending sunset clause of Bill 5002. Big words, a lot of jargon. But basically we added that therefore be it hereby enacted that the 51st Senate ASCSU officially agreed to extend the allocation rather than amending the word in the original bill. Just for tracking sake, it made sense for budgetary to just have the 51st Senate agree to extend the allocation deadline. And then we just kept it as the same fiscal year 2024. So we didn't change the deadline. We just changes the wording to make it more budgetary sense. That's it from us.
Is there any dissent to these changes? Seeing none, these changes will be adopted. We'll now move into discussion and debate on this piece of legislation, starting with the first raised placard. Senator Burge.
For transparency reasons, would we be able to amend the abstract to omit one word? Just so the entire piece of legislation is coherent with itself.
There's been a motion to amend this piece of legislation. All for, is there a second?
Seconded.
All for this amendment?
Aye.
All against? This amendment passes. Parliamentarians, please reflect that change. Are there any other points of discussion? Senator Trout.
I motion for previous question, and secondly, I move for unanimous consent.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
All for moving to previous question?
Aye.
All against? Is there dissent? Seeing none, this bill passes. We'll now move to our final piece of legislation, which will have its third reading tonight. Lex 5101, remedying a mistype. Is the author of the changes present? Just press the button.
Okay, the only change that we made is that Internal Affairs Committee endorsed legislation.
Is there any dissent to these changes? Seeing none, these changes are adopted. We'll now move into discussion and debate on this legislation, starting with the first raised placard. Chair Ostrowski.
Personal privilege, can we bring up the abstract for this piece of legislation?
Yes.
Thank you, parliamentarian clerk. I just texted that to you.
Will the parliamentarian please read the abstract?
This Lex seeks to remedy a mistype of a change to the Constitution from the 50th Senate.
We will continue discussion and debate if there are any more points of discussion. Chair Osterhout.
I feel like this is my discussion debate. No, I really like the vibes of this piece of legislation because we should be holding other members who are like slightly within our space, but indirectly within our space accountable. But I'm just confused. I'd be more okay voting on this piece of legislation if we had more procedures on how we would let ex officio members know who aren't directly involved within ASCSU on like how, and then it's like the liability of how can, I don't know if we have the jurisdiction to mandate training for that. And I know there's been a lot of talk for that. So I don't know, I'm a bit iffy on this piece of legislation, but it's open if y'all want to talk about it.
Are there any other points of discussion? Chair Apey.
I would like to clarify my intention in writing this was purely to move a section that was typed in the wrong spot. But I'm all for making a friendly amendment to add something of the sort to solve Chair Osterhout's problem. Because I agree that frankly, this section should probably have more outlines. All I was doing was trying to fix the 50 change. I yield.
Okay, so currently we don't have access to the document up here. So I would entertain a motion to table this piece of legislation to next week when we will have the document with us.
Motion to table this.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
All for?
Aye.
All against? This legislation is tabled to next week. Chair Apey.
So last week we passed Bill 5106 fixing formatting errors. However, as that was a change to the Constitution, it actually required 3 reads, and that was only the second read. And so I would like to motion that we add that bill to the agenda and then motion that we expedite that so that we can just finish it, just to fix formality.
There's been a motion to add a piece of legislation to the agenda. Is there a second?
Seconded.
All for?
Aye.
All against? This motion passes. There's been a motion to expedite this piece of legislation. Is there a second?
Seconded.
All for expediting this, or we'll now move into discussion on. All for expediting this piece of legislation.
Aye.
All against? This motion passes. We'll now move into our committee reports, starting with budgetary affairs.
Hey, it's me again, Livy, she, her, hers, pronouns. I'm so happy and thankful for everyone who showed up to budgetary last week. We were like uber productive, and I'm just really proud of you all and the hard work we were putting in. Budgetary is canceled this week. Maybe budgetary goes every other week. I don't know. Let's think about it, because there's not a whole bunch of like finances flowing through. But if we start writing legislation, maybe we'll meet every week. I don't know. But yeah, budgetary is canceled. No budgetary. But if you regularly attend budgetary and you want to get that one credit, just email my budgetary affairs and we can get you that attendance points on budgetary's aspect. But other than that, reach out if y'all need any help for legislation and any financial questions. I'm here for you. I yield.
Internal affairs.
Internal Affairs will be seeing the Legislative Cabinet retroactive audit this week on Friday at 4 o'clock in the conference room. We might also look at the Internal Affairs bylaws. At this point, I'm honestly not sure if we already finished those, but we will get to those if we need to. But I don't expect us to take the full hour, but if you do come to internal, you will receive the full hour. So thank you, I yield.
University affairs.
All right, hello everyone. So I was not at University Affairs last week because I was at Day of the Capitol. So thank you very much to my vice chair, Senator Deason, for running it. They did a really good job. And we were able to discharge Bill 5101. Yeah, cannot be. It's 5112. Like that's an easier way to say it. So yeah, 5112 bill was discharged. And we will be meeting tomorrow from Thursday from 4 to 5. And be there if you want. It's a great committee too, just like the other two. So if we want to work with ASCSU committee in less than 24 hours, I don't suggest going to it. I yield my time.
Thank you. We'll move into caucus reports, starting with Women's Caucus.
Hi everyone, I'm on Zoom today. I'm Treasure Morgan, she or hers. And tomorrow will be our first meeting at 12:30 in the conference room. So if you're free, feel free to come by. That's all I have. I yield.
Diversity and inclusion.
Could I make an announcement for, yeah.
Yes.
So Terry Ritter couldn't be here tonight, but her caucus is on Fridays at 2 p.m. in the conference room. So, again, if you're free, feel free to come by. That's it. I yield.
Thank you. We'll now move into legislative officer reports, starting with myself. I am super excited to have a full legislative cabinet, a full and working legislative cabinet. Really excited to have Kevin Clark back as parliamentarian. I cannot put into words how excited I am to have a parliamentarian. Myself and Vice President Deborah Static and Christian Dixon had a meeting with Vice President Hughes today, kind of talking about stuff going on the university. If you have anything that you want to portray to admin in the future, send me an email. I'll include it in my notes. Also, we kind of talked about bringing more administration into Senate to talk about projects that they're working on and kind of build more communication, especially because they mentioned that they're going through some budget changes and stuff like that. So if you have any specific areas that you would like to see come into our space, you can totally invite them yourself or shoot me an email. I'll reach out to the director up there. And yeah, I wanted to say last week, I feel like we went pretty smoothly. I feel like we are very ahead of time today. You'll notice that there wasn't a ton of legislation on this week where there should have been, but our new due date is Wednesdays at 6:30 for legislation. So all legislation that was submitted before this week at 6:30 will be presented next week. So we were kind of just adjusting to that new deadline that is in the bylaws. So yeah, from now on, legislation is due at 6:30 on Wednesdays. And that is all I have. Speaker Pro Tem 4.
Hey, y'all, go a little bit longer this time. First of all, congratulations to the new parliamentarian. Happy to work with you. One, I posted a sign on the Senate office with my contact information, 2 QR codes. Hope you all can see that. I don't want anybody to feel like afraid or intimidated by me just to ask for help. So I literally list out a bunch of things you can ask me for. And lastly, the QR codes lead to a Google form for placard changes and an absence form. So whatever happens to your name, things happens, or pronouns, you can use that form just to quick one away. Of course, you can still email me. That's always a resource. And the absence form, in case you can't make it here for whatever reason, again, weather was obviously the biggest issue today. Again, that's another resource you can do. Email and everything's just fine. Just there's a kind of speed up process and save you all time. And lastly, Director Williamson, John Williamson, for clarification, has said that for on Friday, there's a transfer visit day of an opportunity for prospective and committed transfer students to experience and tour CSU. ASCSU will have a presence at the Transfer Student Fair this Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The fair will be in the Durrell Center. If you would like to help represent ASCSU at the event, feel free to show up at any time from 11 to 1. If you have any questions or need clarification, please reach out to the Director of Campus Engagement, John Williamson, and I'll post the contact information in the group me. That's it.
Parliamentarian.
Hey, Senate. I've been in this position for a total of about 15 minutes now, but it is great to be here. I'm excited to work with all of y'all. And yeah, just really ready to get to work. Feel free to reach out to me if y'all have any questions about legislation that y'all are working on. Or email me at ASCSU_parliamentarian, mail.collegestate. I don't have access to that email yet, but probably will at some point. Other than that, yeah, I'll have more next week. I yield.
Recruitment and Retention Officer.
Hi, everyone. Glad to see everyone tonight. It's great to see y'all. Just to echo what everyone else on leadership said, I'm so happy that we have a full cabinet and I'm excited to work with Parliamentarian Clark. Just 2 announcements for me. So on the pews, I guess they're called, you'll see a sheet with a QR code on it. That QR code is a QR code to a survey, a RAM recognition survey. If you could fill that out, that would be great. We appreciate your feedback on that. And if you don't feel comfortable passing it around, it's also available on the weekly email if you scroll all the way down. Second, legislation night will be next Monday, so February 28th, from 4 to 6 p.m. in LSC 134. And that is across from Ramskeller by the by the campus activities office. So hope you all come to that. And yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Senator and Associate Senator reports. We will now move into Senator and Associate Senator reports, starting with the first raised placard. Senator Trout.
Hi, y'all. So before coming to Senate, I was going to talk about what I usually talk about. But within the last couple hours, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the country right now, and something that brought up my attention. I thought I should make a notion of it. So I know this place is not for politics and whatnot, I get it. But the Texas governor is calling on citizens to report parents of transgender kids as abuse. So that's really fun. No, it's not. So I want us to all really think about the transgender students within each of our colleges, in constituencies. A lot of them are really struggling right now. There's a lot of legislation like this that's criminalizing transgender kids. And that's really not cool. That's not fun. So please think about them within the next couple of weeks. The Pride Resource Center is an incredible resource. I highly encourage anyone who's interested to, go check out their resources there. That's kind of all I have. I know it's more of a serious thing. It's a little upsetting, but I feel as if it's something that this body should be recognizing as something that's affecting our students. So with that, I yield.
Chair Iffy.
As senator for the SDC, I'm in the process of trying to create a disabled student get-together. Since we don't really have an office to hang out in as an SDPS office, we're mostly just a compliance office at the moment. If you have any ideas or suggestions for this, please let me know. I'm kind of starting from the ground up and I have no idea what I'm doing. Thank you, I yield.
Are there any other senator or associate senator reports? Seeing none.
Hey, y'all. Hi, yeah, I'd like to talk about something. So I'm currently working on this bill in which I'm planning on allocating a certain amount to getting lift rides for students that would like to access the health center. And it's obviously my first bill with a dollar amount attached to it. So if anybody would like to give me some input later on through GroupMe or something, that would be highly, highly, highly appreciated. Thank you.
Are there any other senator or associate senator reports? Seeing none, we'll move into announcements. Starting with the first race flag group. Chair.
I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. We took out announcements in the new bylaws.
My bad, these are old bylaws. Let's see. I will yield to Advisor Deardahl.
Hello, everyone. This could be in a report, I guess. Just a follow up to the event that Brandon shared for the resource fair on Friday. It does include free lunch. So if you'd like free lunch, definitely talk to John about tabling. And then just another thing as we get to this point in the semester, the cabinet brought someone from the Health Network tonight to really talk about focusing on breathing, being present, what are mindful things we can do. So I just remind you all as we go into the last few weeks before spring break, definitely take care of yourselves, give yourselves reprieve if you need, reach out to us. Also shout out to the front desk. If you ever need anything, need help, contacts, where to go, resources, the front desk is amazing. So I yield and appreciate you all for being here every week.
Awesome. We'll now move into ending roll call.
Motion to use that beginning roll call as a new roll call.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
All for?
Aye.
All against? This motion passes. We will now adjourn. Thank you, everyone.
By phone, but you already adjourned. Put it in yourself next time. No, it's not.
They voted the price on it.
No, they didn't. You said that to them. We talked about it last time, but they- that vote-
I think we.